Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I hope everybody is fine.
Yes, please. And you?
Yeah, I'm also fine. Are you the only person on the platform?
Sir, please, we are here.
Well, so why are they not
Sir, we are
responding?
here.
I could hear only your voice. Hello,
Sorry.
how are you?
We are good,
Someone
sir.
said that you
And you?
Sir, please, we are here.
We are
okay,
doing well.
you are not ready for
Happy
you are not ready
birthday,
for this
sir.
meeting. Oh,
Yes,
I
it will
mean,
be knowing.
Then we are ready, but someone was disturbing. That's why we kept quiet.
someone did what?
Was disturbing. Like,
Someone are you sure?
yeah.
Okay,
Someone didn't mute, so we kept quiet.
okay. Anyway, so happy birthday. Happy birthday in return. Okay. I give my token
Thank
of
you.
love and then likeness to all of you. Okay. So let's see how it goes. Because of birthday, I have to release you early, right? Or
Stay sure.
what are you going to do? That's sure.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we are going to our husbands.
Your husband. But some of you, quite a sizable number of you are single. So
Yes, sir,
anyway,
continue.
let's carry on.
Yes.
Not so single, say.
Okay. So you mean I should end at the usual time?
Yes, let's go. You can even go more than that.
No, sir. No.
No, sir.
So those
No,
of you
sir.
who
No,
have,
sir.
whatever date or whatever arrangement you have, you can exit the page, right?
Single people and anger
Yes.
issues.
Hey, then it will be left with only me on the page because all of you will exit. Okay. So let's see how you managed today. Where are we and what did you do last time? So let's go. Today by reps, when we have some few minutes to go, let me know. But I have to end by 1:30. By 1:30, all proceedings will come to an end. So let's go. Yeah, so I'm waiting. When you are ready, then let me know.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, please, kindly come again. I didn't hear the last thing you said. I only
Yeah,
said when we are ready.
yeah, because nobody is, say anything. Let's review our last conversation. What did we do? And tell us
Oh,
where we ended our conversation. Then we carry on from there.
okay. Then I think let me come in with a small I can remember.
Okay.
So I think last week you taught us some historical perspective of nursing informatics. So I think we went through a number of dates and a number of people that made inputs in nursing informatics. And I think you started with the fact that the whole concept started with the French and the Germans. The names are, because I think there was one Carl Sternbach. Okay, Carl Sternbach first coined the word informatics, and then the Waterboa also translated it. So that was the input of the Germans. And then we came to 1950, where healthcare started using computers. So there was introduction of computers in healthcare strategies or healthcare operations. Then I think we came to 1970s. So that was when nurses actually appreciated the relevance of computers, or let's say IT in the healthcare delivery or in the services that we render. And then in 1980, we talked of the emergence of nursing informatics specialties. Okay, so then as at that era, the people, eyes were being opened on the use of informatics to go beyond just computers, to now look at informatics proper, and then establishment of sub specialties. When 1995, the you talked of certificate, the first certification by I think nursing informatics competencies. So from the specialties, then we they try to actually look at key competencies, key yes, key competencies in nursing informatics. Then by the 2000s, there was a whole the concept was well adopted and then for use. And then you talked of the input of I think what American Nursing Association also they also made inputs in health informatics. Then I think you also talked of the evolution of health informatics, where you talk of stages and Bagley. They said information technology oriented, conceptual orientation, then role orientation. Then I think we continue. So that was when you talked of scholars and Beber's their inputs, Ball and Hannah. Then later you came to explain the conceptual orientation, the definition. So we talked of Graves. I think
Hello. 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 Okay. Uh, have you ended? Okay, now I think it's okay now. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you on the Zoom.
Okay, but how is it that whenever I say, I don't hear you?
Sir, because I've muted the entire class, other than that, still disturbed.
Okay, but do you hear me?
Yes, sir, and everyone on the Zoom hears you.
Okay. So let's make progress from here. My friend who was, giving us some gist of information about our last meeting, I think he has given us a very good feedback, and that is a very good one. But he didn't finish. All the salient points have been covered. He started from the genesis of computers in care delivery, where some individuals single-handedly did enormously so well in terms of where we find ourselves here. Then the American Nurses Association has to also build on the foundation, and they define and legitimize the scope of what nursing informatics to guide all nursing practitioners. So that is a very good one. Then from there, we look at computer systems. So the computer system, we look at what a computer is all about here. Then we said that at our level, we should just see it as what having the physical infrastructure supported by the software. So any entry that you make, that is the inputted data or input data, the computer will have to receive it, store it in the memory. That is the primary storage device. Then when you need it, you have access to them. But we also made a very profound statement that you require the processor for the processing device to execute a task in terms of converting the raw data into usable information. So we said that the processing device contains something we term as electronic circuit or circuitry, and that supports the conversion of raw data into output. Then we also look at data handling, where we said that we require the input data. You also require the processing device. You also require the storage device. And then let's see the output device. All these are very important. Then we also look at, hardware, where we say that all the things that we can make out with our naked eye, we can see the state or the physical infrastructure that should constitute what? The hardware. And we're able to look at what make up a complete hardware. So we look at the architectural framework of a hardware. Then we also look at the software, where we said that the integral part of the system software has to do with the operating system, which is the brain or the heartbeat of the computer, that it turns all the applications to make it, usable for whatever task that you want to, execute. So whether you want to power your computer off, you want to restart your machine, you want to stay on the internet, the operating system is at the heart of all these exchanges. So it became quite clear to all of us. Then we look at computer ports, where we said that a port serves as an interface or an outlet through which a cable connects. This became very important because at our various places of work, because we are now using electronic health records, there could be some disconnected cables, or some of these outlets may not be compatible with some cable. So we should be able to look at our computers, laptop, and identify all the ports and look at cable that can fit these outlets, so that in case we are faced with challenges, we see how we can resolve all of them. Then we also look at advantages and then disadvantages among others. Now we began looking at networks and then internet, where it became very clear that when you talk about network, we are looking at having the software, the hardware that facilitate communication among or between computers. So it is considered as a combination of hardware and software that allows communication and electronic transfer of information between computers. So before we can have a transfer of information, we have one computer that is sending and another computer that is also receiving that. And that is why, even though the software itself may not be, it is a bit hidden, or it is inbuilt, so you may not necessarily see that, but it is very central for transmission of information to take place. So before we can fully embrace network and then internet, we should also go extra mile to look at, network architecture, or we can also look at client-server technology or architecture. All these support the operationalization of network and then internet. So a server stores files and programs that are accessed by the client on the network. So when you say client on the network, your computer, your personal computer or laptop is the client, because your computer will have to request another file from an unknown computer elsewhere. Okay, so that is how the client is. So in the examination, I can set a question Then you have to decide whether it's indicative of what? A server, a client, purpose where, or network. So let's take note of all these and then read around. Okay. Then types of what? Networks. We look at local area networks where we sell line. For instance, the university connect all its computers through line. So a typical example could be what? Wi-Fi. Okay. Then we also look at what? Wide area networks, where we say when you have several local area networks coming together will constitute what? The wide area networks for one. Then global connection of what? Networks. They also lead to what? Internet, or several wide area networks may also form what? Internet. So without the robust what? Network infrastructure, you may not have what? Access to the internet. So internet is something like a blueprint for us to get access online. Then you also have what? Intranet. So example of what? Intranet has to do with, intranet is a private company network that is protected from outside access. Then you also have extranet. Extranet also represent several intranets that are also connected. I can ask you which of the underlisted represent an intranet or extranet. So it is very important that whatever you so don't say that I expose you to the types of network. Therefore, the example that can accommodate. You don't know. So please, when I ask you about examples of intranets, just unmute yourself and then talk. Okay. Just mute yourself and then talk. When you talk about intranets, whoever wants to talk, please. Hello.
Hello, sir. Please, we are with you.
Kindly, do that and then. Big girl also. Okay.
Try again later. Sorry, the number you dialed is currently not reachable. Please try again later.
Hello, sir. Your line dropped.
Yeah, I think the network I'm somewhere, but we are managing. But anyway.
Sorry. And then it is threatening to also rain this afternoon. So
Yeah, okay, that may be the reason. But currently, unmute for me.
sure, please, they are not muted.
Okay, so I'm joining.
All right, sir. Please, we are waiting for you, sir. Hello, Buzianfo, please. Our lecturer will join us soon. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Sorry for the setback. I was just asking you to give me an example of what intranet. I've given an example of what a line or local area network. Can you also cite example of what intranet? I hope the feedback is good now.
Yes, sir, please. Sir, please, can you talk of one?
I've spoken about. Are you citing one as an example of what intranet?
Yes, please.
Can you break it down?
Hey.
Can you break it down?
Sir, my sister Barbara said will help me. She has raised her hand.
Okay, that's good. It's good to pick a lawyer. Okay, Barbara.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
With the intranet, I will say the links and the games that we are using at the hospital, which help us to assess patients' records. But when you get out of the hospital, even if it's on your phone, and you get outside the hospital, you can access it. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's a clear case, a very typical example of intranet. So that is why I said that it's a private company network that is protected from outside access. So, for instance, your usage of limbs or games, once you are not in the hospital, I mean, you don't have access to it anymore. So, in the examination, I can ask you an example of what intranet. So, let's take note of that. Now, what about extranet? Can somebody also give us example of what extranet? You said that it is just several intranets coming together will form what? I mean, extranet. So, what is that? Example is what? Or for that one, we are going to look for it.
Sir, can you say example is insurance company, the National Health Insurance Company that verify patient claims. That one there. It's like
Okay. I think we can side with her. Because that one go beyond what a mere facility or institution. So they just external, I mean, a form of what intranet. So having several of the facilities coming together will form that kind of what unit. And that is what a typical example of what extranet. So that's a very good one. Now, Barbara again, or you have just spoken.
Yes, with the extranet too, you can say that online vendor can be also an it.
Can you come again?
With the online marketing that we do, like pre-order thing.
Okay,
the company has allowed us to like do transactions with them.
Okay, I think all of them are several intranets coming together to form that. So you are looking at it from the bigger, I mean, spectacle. For instance, if you look at games or limbs, even though they are specific to institutions, but we have a database repository center that serves as a major source of what information. So that will become what I mean extranet because all of you are getting your information from what the main source, and that is why several intranets will form what I mean extranets. So let's take note of that in examination when you have questions. that are peculiar to the things you do. You need to ponder on it and see what is intranet and what is what extranet. So based on that, you'll be able to make a clear, judgment. Right?
Say,
Yeah, okay.
please, can a student's portal also be an example of like extranets, because it allows us to like register our courses, do our midterms, and then we also view our results there.
Okay, so based on this, with the student portal that you have, you see this one. That is why I said that Garden City connects all its computers on online local area network. So it is also a private company, network. So all of you are students of GCET. The fact that you are having online meeting doesn't mean that it becomes what an extranet. It is just what an institution-based software that allows all of you to join. So whoever is not registered cannot have access to it. So that one should be considered as what local area network, because it relies on what even if you're on campus, you have to get access via Wi-Fi, even though you can use your own internet to get access to it. But in my view, I think that one should be considered as what either local area network or an intranet, right? Intranet,
Okay,
right?
sir, thank you.
Most of the wider audience. Okay, good. Can I make progress from here? So please, it is not just that. What about I share that ends here? At least you can just read around. Now you have a clear picture of what the various types of what network. So it is up to you to make your reading more expansive and try to narrow to several examples so that whenever you meet some of them in examination, because I'm not going to ask you, tell me what an intranet or extranet is about. It is just going to be narrowed down to the things you do, and then you decide where it goes. Now, what you are seeing here is a complete architecture of what network and then internet. So all the infrastructure you see here, they constitute what the network. You can see maybe laptops, computers. You can see communication devices, and if possible, maybe you see routers. All of them will constitute what the network. Then what you see here, that is the Uber ship here. It is just a replica of what how the internet span the globe. Okay, so all the network will have to lead to having access to the internet. So without the infrastructure here, you can't have what the internet. Is it okay? Hello.
Hello, sir. It's okay for us.
Okay. So in terms of this one, we all know the benefits of what using the internet. So for the purpose of what communication, so we are looking at games and then we are looking at LIMS, how it can support nurses to communicate. So that is a very important part of what this one. Then we also look at for the purpose of what research. Research is very important. You have abundance of what or wealth of what resources online that can aid nurses for getting evidence-based information to support their interventions. So that's very important. Okay, then you also have those of you who are interested in online shopping, banking, and then investment. These days, commercial bank, you may decide to go there, or you can be anywhere and send money or retrieve money from your accounts. Then those of you who may also want to do online training, those of you who are a fan of entertainment, can also entertain yourself, download music and videos, share information, and also interactions. Now, let's review what you perceive to be some of the challenges in terms of network or maybe internet. What are some of the setbacks? Let's try to see how we can review that. I have a paper on nurses' usage of social media. I did that publication together with Mr. NS Entry. So, you can also go online, just log in with, let's say, my name, Kennedy ADDO. You will see, publication or article on nurses' usage of social media. In healthcare delivery, together with an essential, you will see there. But we are just looking at what internet and network. What are some of the challenges that may hamper the full utilization of what? The internet or being online. Anybody with some view? Even though I've decided to conceal that from you because I know you are quite familiar with some of the challenges, but I want you to voice out on the challenges. Time is not on our side, so let's speed up. Financial problems. Even though somebody is saying that it is very expensive these days, you just bundle, some credits, and then before you realize everything is gone. So that is a major challenge here. People may want to have fun. People may want to enjoy, have 24/7, access to the internet. But because of the pervasive challenges, that is a major, concern, especially cost and then poor network. In fact, research show that in terms of internet cost, I think Africa or the sub-region, I think it is too exorbitant or too costly in terms of getting access to the internet. So there have been concerns about how best we can, have a cheap access to the internet so that all of us can enjoy it. But we don't know when that is going to happen, because you yourself, you want to enjoy from, let's say, Instagram, you want to be on Facebook, you want to be on TikTok, you want to be everywhere, and then you're also complaining about. Okay, anyway, that is bad network. Lack of devices. Please, lack of devices. Can you clarify that? Lack of devices. Can you clarify that? Okay. One thing I have noticed about, I wanted you to say them because I want the session to be more interactive. Abuse of the internet. Can you tell us how abusive the internet is? Can you do that? I want to hear from one or two of you. Then we build on from there. What have you encountered as a major setback that need to be brought to our attention? What do you see to be a major constraint that you think it is worth sharing with us? Or you are all used to the challenges, so we should take it like that. Okay. So one need to be equipped on how to use it. Okay, that is also privacy concern. These days, people can breach your privacy, get access to something to use against you, and all these are one of the challenges. You see, somebody will get, for instance, just yesterday, somebody sent me, somebody called me that he has sent me money. That is 1,200 Ghana cedis on my phone. So I had to say, the person is telling me to send the money back to someone. So I told the person I knew what the person was about, but I said that, let me be more curious about this one. So I gave the person some time that I needed to check or just to confirm. I confirmed, and then he has sent a message. But when I check my wallet, I noticed that there has not been any addition of what, a transfer or whatever. Then I told the person that if the person claimed to have sent me money, he should go to what, MTN, and claim the money. And they are doing it. So if you fall, a victim, then they will get you. So let's all be very watchful, because these days it is becoming very, very, very rampant, and people have fallen into some of these, falling into some of these traps. So let's be careful. And then another thing is that disinformation. Somebody can share, unverifiable information about some people, and then everybody will become a talk of the social media or wherever. Then people will buy into that. Disinformation is one of the major setbacks. And how can you contain that? For instance, somebody who was very popular on social media because of the way and manner the person was conducting herself online. So the person was to be called to Ghana Bar, and some concerned citizens saw those kind of what unsavory conduct on social media, and they reported to Ghana Legal Council. So they had to launch investigation into that alleged misconduct, and the person was found culpable. Because of that, the person was refused called to Ghana Bar and to further notice. So some of these things that we do, if care is not taken, you will just end up undermining ourselves. So please, let's be watchful. Don't go and solicit what information from some people for somebody to use it against someone. Cyber security threats, the issues of what hacking, all these are some of the threats that we are supposed to deal with. Okay, so thank you. Let's make progress from here. Common internet terms. This will give us a common frame of reference and help you to better communicate with people out there. When we say internet broadband, what comes into mind? Internet broadband. What comes into mind, right? Okay, unless your advertisement from unwanted companies, then you will tell us about those wanted companies, right? Addiction. I'm told that some of you are addicted. You can't stay off. Online a bit. Cyber security threats or cyber bullying, among others. These are some of the threats we are supposed to deal with. Then, the internet broadband is just a colloquial word that represents the speed of what? The internet, right? So when you say internet broadband, you are just looking at what? The speed of the internet. Then you also have browser, domain, dynamic page, file transmission protocol, hypertext transfer markup language. Then you also have hypertext transfer, protocol, hypertext transfer protocol secured, hyperlink. This one, the link to another, website or document. That may be the hyperlink or protocol. Protocol should serve as what? The language or the medium of language via the internet. That is the language or the medium of language through which we get access to the internet. And that become what? The protocol. Then the search engine or the surfing the internet, all of them represent our ability to get access to the internet through searching. Then uniform resource indicator or uniform resource locator, all these will serve as what? A link to a website or document. So these are very important. Now let me go to Barbara. I want to get your views on what have been highlighted in red ink. Hypertext transmission, hypertext transfer protocol, the hypertext transfer protocol secured. Are there any difference between the two? Okay, before that, let me go to Barbara.
Please, sir, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, the question is, per your submission, you were saying someone sent you money and someone called you that he has sent money, so you have to return the money. So my question is, there is a perception that the telecommunication people are the same people calling us. So I want you to clarify that for me.
Okay, thank you. I think quite recently somebody did research and we were just trying to solicit people's view from about the fact that whether people have been duping us of our monies, people have been getting access to our accounts, because some of them, when they get access to your wallet, the tendency for them to also get access to your bank account is also very high. So when they get your PIN, they can also navigate their way through to get to your accounts, and if possible, you can retrieve depending on the amount of money you can withdraw in the day. You can do that. So I think I'm told some of them have already worked with MTN or some of the companies, right? So they know their way out. And when they stop, that is why I'm saying that these are fraudulent activities. Before they can do that, I mean that quite a number of them have worked with them. And that is the reason why this one doesn't seem to, even though we have all registered our SIM. And now, per what I see, some of them will call you with the MTN number. But when they ask you to send any money, they use either Telecel number, right? they will use telecell number. There's no way they will give you an MTN number. They use telecell number because you cannot trace that or you cannot track that. That may be unregistered number. So once you get the money, that is it all. What I'm saying is that the person's called me that he has sent me 1,000 to my phone, and it was calling for refund. Then I said that let me confirm whether indeed the person has maybe mistakenly sent that. When I checked, I noticed there was a message confirming that I have received. I had to go to my wallet to confirm, or go to my mobile account, and mobile money account to confirm. There was nothing of that sort. So what I did, I told the person to go to MTN and then retrieve the said money. You get it. So if you're not careful and then you think the moment you see the money, you see the message of that, so you think that it is true. And that is why I said all of us should be on guard. And then quite recently, you also have, once your account is also, hacked, you will see, messages that somebody is what, maybe a relative of yours need money. And then they will send that to all your platforms. If care is not taken before you realize all the contacts you have might have fallen victim into some of these things. Okay? So let's take notice of this. Barbara, have I answered you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now let me take your views on the one that is highlighted in red ink, the ATTP and then ATTPS. Are there any differences? What is the difference between the two? What is the difference between the two? Oh, in terminal. Today, the meetings,
Sir,
go
please,
fast,
I
fast.
know I know the difference between the two is the one that has the S at the end is more secured than the first one. Thank you.
Okay, so can you get me an example? Can you cite an example of the one with the S? Okay, so in examination, you cite example, right? That's how you want it. My friend. Okay, please.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, please, the one with the S, I would say online banking.
Okay, so let's go. Barbara, why am I having conversation with only Barbara? Why? You a group A, don't bring yourself this way because I've always been commending you that you make my session very, very interactive. So why is it being one-sided? Okay, those of you who have entered the page with your phone without your full name, so please change that to your official name, right? Other than that, I will not call you.
Sir,
Once you log in, okay, my friend, go ahead.
Please, I think anything that has to do with your personal informations or like anything private, it's an example of the S because it's your private information that only you has access to. So like your Facebook, like your logins and
Okay. So I think I'm getting the point very well. Okay, so since you don't want to talk.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Now let me get to Eddie. Okay, let's hear you.
Yes, sir. Please, with the one with the S, just as my sister said, it is the one which is the most secured. It's the one which is most secured, and just as she has already mentioned, it's mostly about people's let me say private logins. So for instance, their logins onto the student portal, your special login and others. So that's how I understand the difference.
Okay, I think they have said it all. Your personal logins, for instance, you have been able to log in to this platform because of how secure the system is. You look at the one without S. That one allows you to have access to the internet without restrictions. So there's no any issues of authentication. But with the one that ends in S, it is more secured. That requires authentication. So if you want to have access to some documents, sometimes they can ask you to log in with your institution email address or credentials. Sometimes without your institution logins, there is no way you have access to that. Whoever is not a student of GCUC will not have access to our platform unless you share the link and then the code with the person. So this one authenticate and then allow you to get access to what any formal official platform. So Zoom meetings, webinars, all of them begins with what HTTPS. But the one without S, it allows you to, and that is why all of us are on social media platforms because they are informal platforms, right? That allows access to anything. Okay. Okay. So if that is what understood, then let's also move on to this one. So for instance, the UR I that you see here, uniform resource indicator. For instance, if you want to get access to maybe document, you can just upload a link. That link will take you there. Once you click on the link, you are taken to the document. Those of you who are researchers, or this one is, the way, get access to a document or information through connecting to a link, right? Now let's also look at this one. Theoretical models and framework in nursing informatics. You know, concept should give us an idea of what we want to do. Then you also have theoretical models. Theoretical models also look at what guides, the concept or the idea. So for instance, if you are doing this informatics, what are the pillars that revolve around the word, informatics? And that is why in our conversation, I said that the major determinant has to do with what? Nursing as the foundational knowledge, computer science, and the information science. So these are the major concepts guiding, the course nursing informatics. But we also have some theories or models that also support conceptualization. And that is it. So in most of the research that you do, advanced research, you see that you are asked to provide, theoretical framework. For instance, if you are setting your research objective, there should be a theory or foundational theory that supports your objective. So those doing MPhil programs at University of Ghana, what they do is that they are supposed to set their objective from the theoretical framework or the theoretical models. So the model that you see should serve as something like construct. When I say the construct, what make the complete theory that constitutes the construct. Okay. Then we are also looking at what framework, that is the structure. So if you are looking at, let's say, conceptual framework, that is what you have conceived, your own idea. So in research, you will see that some people have come up with their own theories, their own models or theoretical underpinnings. What you are going to bring on board, that is what distinct from what is already known. That serves as what theoretical framework. Okay, so that one something you conceive yourself. Now the complexity and responsibility of nursing practice today requires long-term and ongoing career development. This in turn requires an understanding of the differences between experienced nurse and a novice. So this one is going to guide us about who is experienced user of an information system, LIMS or games, who is a novice in the use of games, or who is a novice in the field of nursing. By the end of this session, students should be able to describe the theoretical models in nursing informatics. You explain the distinguishing features and describe the levels of skills, acquisition. We are going to look at that. Now, this is what we see theoretical model. The whole structure here you see, or the whole framework that we see. In other things, somebody may say a schema. It is also something like a framework or structure. So the novice to the expert theory is a construct first proposed by Hubert and Stratigraph in 1980 as the de Vos model of skill acquisition. and later applied and modified to nursing by Patricia Benner. So if you're talking about models of skills acquisition in nursing, Patricia Benner adopted this concept from what? Rupert and then Stuart Duclos. Okay, and they use that one to distinguish between who a novice nurse is and who an expert nurse is. And it goes in that stepwise direction in terms of what? Ranking. And that is why you have what? Staff nurse through to, let's say, nursing director. Okay, so what you see here, novice, advanced beginner, competent, proficient, and then expert. All these defines what? The construct. So the construct complete the whole, theory, or let's say, framework. Please, are you following the conversation?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
please.
Okay, so
Yes.
as it stands now, there are 5 levels of development within the novice to the expert theoretical model. They start from the novice through to the expert level. So let's see how it shapes our understanding. But before that, both Geoffros and Patricia Benner made profound statement that it takes about 5 years to move through the 5 stages from either the novice through to the expert level. But they also confirmed that it is not everybody who starts from the novice level and then they get to the level of what? Expertise. Not all novices become what? Expert. And then this one, I know this one very clear because somebody may start as what? Staff nurse. The person may be okay, comfortable with the position, and will wait till, let's say promotion, right? And then somebody may also want to say that I will not wait for me to get promoted to that kind of what rank, but I'll have to build up myself, where maybe because of my certificate, I can overtake the normal view of what my promotion and get to something valuable. Okay, so 2 personal characteristics that distinguish the successful evolution to the expert level seem to be deliberate practice and willingness to take risk, to go beyond the norm. So the deliberate practice here means that you have made conscious effort that regardless of the storms, you are going to weather the storm to get through to where you aspire to be, right? And that is why these days somebody might have worked for, let's say, excuse me, somebody might have worked for 10 years, 15 years. They are now, doing top up, right? Somebody is also, let's say, just few years into work, and the person is also doing this. And then some are also even doing rotation, and they are doing this. And I know some people who have completed even this program for about 3-4 years. But their facility is saying that they were not officially informed in terms of in writing that, or they didn't apply for study leave. And therefore, they themselves, they know that they have graduated and then they have the certificate. But because of what? Going against ethics among others, they will not allow them to be promoted. But it doesn't, really matter. Sometimes I always tell myself that you don't develop yourself for the institution. You develop yourself with the view that opportunity will abound. So once you have the certificate and you have not been promoted, you will see that as well. Another step to make some progress or get some progression. That should guide all of us. Opportunities abound and we don't know where the axe will fall, one day. And that is the reason why we are all doing this. So that is it. And then your ability to also take risk. The risk will be that you have not officially informed your management that you want to go to school. So when those people who officially have study leave to embark on this journey, they will be promoted ahead of you because you cannot even bring your certificate. I remember when I was also doing a top-up program, and then my facility told me that I did not officially inform them before embarking on that journey. So whenever you go to promotion with your certificate, you will find ways and means what deny you. But the word will not come to an end. That is why where they will not receive you, another opportunity or door will open, and then you may progress from there. So the risk is part of what? Losing to gain. Okay. Now let's go to the substantive constructs. A novice does not know anything about the subject he or she is approaching. and has to memorize 8 contests, 3 futures. So you are considered as what? A novice. We assume that you don't know anything. So it is like a nursing students who are just been enrolled in first year. First year, we assume that the person doesn't know anything about what lies ahead. So as part of the progression, you have to learn to depend on rules, right? And that is what makes a novice is. And let's narrow this one to our level of understanding regarding informatics. We have introduced LIMS or games, which is what a software that is new to all of us. So all of us are considered as what novices, right? Because we are supposed to learn rules of engagement or rules of the game. When we are being able to get adjusted to all the rules that define the full utilization of what, the system, then we can progress to advanced beginner who is still, dependent on rules, or even though the person still depends on rules. But as he or he gains more experience with real life situations, you begin to notice additional aspects that can be applied to related conditions. So, for instance, even though you are not far from what the rules, you are still dependent on rules. But something that is characteristics of what the novice, you will say that you, embodies that kind of what changes. For instance, somebody who is in year 1 and somebody who is in year 2 or year 3, a first year student cannot compare him or herself to second year or third year students, even though all of them are dependent on what rules. But those of us who are already on the field working, the application may somewhat change, but we are going to look at what who falls within a competent user of what an information system and a proficient user of what an information system. So just try to ponder on this and see how you can redefine your own examples, right? Then competent. Competent person grasps all the relevant tools and facts of the field and is for the first time able to bring his or her own judgment to each case. In some years back, when the political landscape was getting so heated, some people were described as being incompetent. Others were also described as super incompetent. So who is a competent nurse and who is a competent user of what an information system? So this one will tell us that even if you are described as competent, it is not enough because you need to be more proficient or get to the expert level. Then we can say that you have what it takes. So a competent user does not necessarily have the ability to handle all tasks. So at this stage, a competent person grabs all the relevant rules. You know all the rules of what engagement. And for the first time, you are able to make your own. You know everything, but or how the system works. But you are able to take certain drastic, decisions with little supervision or no supervision at all. And that will be credited to you as what a competent user of what an information system. And then we have what proficient. The fourth stage is what stage of fluency. So in examination, I can ask you which of the greatest theoretical models is described at the stage of fluency, and it is characterized by the progress of the learner from a step-by-step analysis and solving of the situation to the holistic perception of the entirety of the situation. So proficiency is very important. So let's narrow the conversation. When you have a rotational nurse, where can we, associate the person with any of the construct? Is the person a competent user of an information system, a competent nurse, or the person is still seen as what proficient? Let me get your views on this one. Who is a proficient nurse? How does a proficient nurse differ from a competent nurse? Who are the rotational nurses? Where do you, align them? Where do you align nurses who have been posted to work? Are they competent or proficient? Let me get your views. Please, the floor is open. I hope you are following the conversation. Okay, now let me go to, Ima.
So please, for me, to place the rotational nurses, especially the new crop of rotational nurses, I will place them under advanced beginners.
Are you sure?
Because of, yes, that is why I qualified it to mean especially some of the new crop of rotational nurses that we encounter at the workplace. I want to place them there, and then staff nurses, I will place staff nurses at the competent level. And then yes, if I want to go up a bit, so when they have about 2-3 years of experience, then at this level they are proficient.
Okay, so where do you find yourself? Where do you see yourself? Just be candid to yourself, okay?
Okay, so for me at this level, I think I'm proficient. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but yes.
Oh, I know definitely you don't call yourself expert, but I don't also want to.
No.
Reduce your position, right? Because in the moment you say you're competent nurse, it could be that kind of mismatch, right? So you want to stay within your rank. Okay. So somebody is also saying that rotational and student, it is not quite clear. Rotation nurse is advanced beginner. Newly posted nurse is competent. Okay, that's interesting. Now let me get to Barbara. Then I'll come back to Ima. Barbara.
Sir, please, I have a question.
Okay, Barbara, ask your
question. My question is with the proficient nurse, the person can be in the ward for as long as we can imagine, but with the skills of what he or she does,
okay.
I personally don't think. Yes, some people can be in the ward like for 20 years, but they are not competent.
Okay.
So with that, should I still say because of the years they have served, I should place them as proficient nurses?
Okay, that's a very good question. But if you are listening to the introduction, I said that both Patricia Benner and Dufros estimated that it takes approximately 5 years to move from the novice level to the expert level. So they also made profound statement that not all novices end up in becoming an expert, right? So somebody can be on the job for so many years, but if the person have not, be more deliberate about what the person wants to, attain, then the person can be where he or she is. For instance, you can be considered as what competent nurse, but if you don't advance, it may be difficult for somebody to associate you with what expertise or level or maybe proficiency level. So that is a very good, observation, but it's subject to debate. Whether somebody who stays on the job for years will necessarily mean that the person is proficient or expert, or whether somebody who is just starting even serve better than somebody who has been there for years. And all these are very important. And that is the reason why when you are doing a promotion, sometimes you look at the what the person brings to the table. Even though somebody might have worked for so many years, but depending on what the new person brings on board, the person can be promoted ahead of all the one with what perceived experience. So this one is subjective, but for me, the system will have to naturally shape you to reflect what they want you to do. So if you are on the job and you are still not competent, it means that maybe the institution or management is not, help you to be up to the required task. Barbara, are you okay? So that one is subjective.
Yes, sir. Right? Thank you, sir. Thank you,
okay,
sir.
Good. Now let me go to Rose. Can we also Let's hear you. Rose.
Okay, sir. Sir, what
Okay.
I want to say is that with the competency, it means that maybe when a task is being given, the person can do it well. But with the proficiency, it means that you can go an extra mile doing something that maybe no one can do. Meaning you are going an extra mile or you are doing something unique in your field of work. That's the difference. So I think with that one, someone maybe we will all be staff nurses, but we will have a particular person who is more proficient in the sense that that person can do something which is unique or exceptional. This will make the person more proficient, but in all, we will be classified as competent because we all can do it well. So that is what I can say about it.
Okay. So that's a very good, observation. In fact, okay. Now let me go to Ima. Okay.
Sir, please. So from what my sister just said, then it really means that time wouldn't be a factor here, because just as she was saying, let's take wound dressing for instance. There is this one person who can dress a wound such that no matter what, it will take very few days for the wound to be healed. But there are others who have been dressing wounds over the years, yet it takes time for the wounds to be healed. So from what my sister is saying, then I think probably time wouldn't be one of the key functioning, the key difference between being competent and also being proficient.
Okay, very good one. That is why I said that it is quite subjective, right? Because somebody can just be the person that doesn't want any progression. So if it happens this way, we can see that because maybe you have been there for long, you can associate you with a level of expertise. You can have what it is, but you need to go, extra mile. Now let me also look at it from this angle. You see, some people have come the academic ladder right from BEC through to any level of advance. But sometimes how you see them may not be a true reflection of what, maybe the number of what certificate or the academic ladder that they have climbed. Okay. So somebody have completed, let's say, advanced program, but the person may not necessarily be fluent. It doesn't mean that the person is not good. Right? Sometimes it depends on the foundation, but if you give the person work to do, the person can execute the task very well. So let me put it from this angle. Somebody who has just been posted to the facility, we can assume that the person is what, a competent nurse. Okay? We cannot necessarily say that advanced beginner, because it means that all the rules of engagement, at least you have seen it throughout your period of what, training. So you have seen that again something to bear, because you can take some decision. Okay, but the proficient midwife or proficient nurse, maybe we can associate the proficient nurse to an nurse in charge who has been there for years, and then based on the number of years the person has spent, we assume that the person has gone very far compared to maybe nurses who have just. Please, can you restrain that person for us? So, nurse in charges, we assume that they are all proficient. And one thing is that our mode of, tutorials or medium of language is the English language, right? But why do they demand English proficiency certificate when you are applying for school, outside? The reason is that you can have, your school giving you English proficiency certificate to confirm that you are able to write and then speak very well. But they also expect you to take what? IELTS, or let's say sit for a TOEFL or anything that can confirm your proficiency in terms of your ability to speak or your ability to write. They demand all these things because they want to be sure of what? Our ability to speak or our ability to write very well. And that is the reason why sometimes they ask you to go extra mile. And they don't want you to fake anything. So you do everything online. And once you are done, the results or score have to go to them. So there's no way you can have a shortcut or you can redefine what did not go in your favor. So all the in charges, we can place them at the level of proficiency, right? So let's take note of that. Then expert, we assume that in your institution, that is why you go through ranking. And before you move from what? A staff nurse through to, let's say, nursing director, know that you have weathered your storms, you have been more deliberate in your actions and everything. And therefore, we can endear you as an expert in your field. All decisions that you take comes naturally, right? An expert is an experienced situation, a repertoire of experienced situations that is so vast that all decisions that we take, comes naturally. For instance, a driver who has, driven for, let's say, so many years cannot be compared to somebody who had just, drove for just about some few years. The same applies to what? An expert. All the decisions that you make, it is dictated. Please, can you restrain that person for us? All the things that you do, they dictate for you naturally. It comes naturally without you, inviting them, because you have seen it in all situations. And nursing directors or nursing managers, or that is what, matron, they can be put in the category of what? Expert, where the proficient or the competent nurse or maybe user of information system will fail. Expert, you come there and everything normalized. And that is why you have what? Your bosses, okay? And you have what? Your in charges. I hope the conversation is okay. Then let's wrap up on this one. Relationship between data, information, and knowledge. Relationship between data, information, and knowledge. Data is described as discrete entities that are described objectively without interpretation. So if you are talking about, let's say, age, you are talking about sex or gender, all of them are data elements, okay? Then information is just organization or formalization of what? Those data elements into something significance or relevance. So you place those data elements into context. You contextualize that, and that define information. Then knowledge is what? The combination or the amalgamation of what? All the collective, information that you have, and your ability to bring to bear what you know, okay? And that is what? Application of what? The knowledge. All the things that you have learned in school, you bring to bear. And that is formalization of all the things that you know in making decisions. So by the end of this journey, students should be able to discuss what raw data is about, what information is about, and knowledge in terms of what? Nursing care. A clear linkage or relationship between or among these what? Set of what? Elements. You see, American Nurses Association, their definition, where I said that data, information, and knowledge represent the key pillars of what? Nursing communication. Information, there will not be any knowledge. So all of them, it's like something like a food chain. They are very, very important. So according to Bloom in 1986, he introduced the concept of data, information, and knowledge as the framework for understanding critical clinical information systems and their impact on healthcare. He did this by classifying the then current clinical information system by the 3 types of objects that these systems process. These were data, information, and the knowledge. Now, let me take your views. An example or an instance of data, instance of vital signs for an individual heart rate, respiration, temperature, among others, are considered as a set of what? Data elements. So let me get your views. How do you establish relationship between these set of what? Data elements, let's say vital signs? How do you translate this one into information? Because the data elements you see here are all raw facts. How do you turn them into usable information? And how do you also bring formalization of what your knowledge to bear. So if you pick vital signs as data elements, tell us how it then become information and how it also become knowledge. So in your examination, our candidate set questions with the view that you identify which of them may have inclination to data, information or knowledge. It may not be far from all the things you do. So please, let's take note of that. So the ball is in the court now. Let's go. We know this are set of data elements. How can we associate this one with information? Please, is that clear? Okay, so let me go to my friend. You can go ahead and then make your submission. The hand has, disappeared. Please bring your hand back. Okay. Okay, so let me go to Rose. Let's get your view. Rose, can I hear you?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Rose,
Sir,
let me hear you.
with the vital signs, maybe you check someone's temperature and you get maybe 38.8. This is a data that you have recorded, but it will give you the information that there is something going on, meaning the person is having a high body temperature. So with this info that you get, it is telling you that maybe the person is suffering from a disease, maybe a malaria or fever. So with the knowledge that you have acquired, the data that is the recording, that is the temperature 38.8, is you are bringing, as you said, knowledge is bringing what you've learned into bear. So you would now know that maybe the person may be suffering from a disease, maybe you guess like malaria or fever. So with this data is helping you to make a decision or make a diagnosis that this is what is happening to the individual. So that is what I can say.
Okay, so I think we have gotten into well. So based on what you have just said, can you cite an example of what knowledge, element with regards to, vitals or vital signs? Can you, because you said that maybe the temperature is very high, 38.8, and then you are able to situate this one into proper context because it gives you an idea of what is happening or what will happen. Then that is the information, right? So
yes,
how then do you transform information to become knowledge in this context?
So for me, this will guide you in diagnosing. So with diagnosing, you can be able to maybe decide that let the patient go for maybe a lab to confirm the diagnosis. So with you deciding that, then let the person do maybe MPs so that we can know if it's malaria or if it's a different thing. So with this one, it's giving you an information, that you should do this or that for the patient. So it will even help you to prescribe a medication so that you can cure. That is what I can say.
I wanted to even hear that word, medication, that becomes the intervention, right?
Yes.
So if you request laboratory services and then you go and the no MPs are seen, does it mean that knowledge application has failed? Or anyway, let me go to Ima. Bring your view. What do you have?
Okay, sir. So I think my sister, has given a good submission. I wanted to say that so like the scenario you've given, so I checked the patient's blood pressure and it's like 88/50. Then the pulse is 132. Respiration is 21. So that is a raw data. So I'll translate this one into an information to mean that the blood pressure is low, then the pulse is high, then the respiration is high. So they've all deviated from normal. So once I have this information, then I'll translate all this information into knowledge to diagnose the patient as having, let's say, shock. So with this knowledge that the patient has shock, then it will inform me on how to treat the patient accordingly. Just to buttress what my sister said.
Okay, so that's a very good one. So these are the linkages, right? So one leads to the other. So that's a very good one. And let me also add some few, tips. We can also consider something like, even though I've already mentioned data elements, but you can also add medication administration records. Administration records as a stand will also become something like data elements, right? Care plans, but you are supposed to situate that in proper context as you be informed by what to do. And that is what the information that you also have. So your ability to provide intervention, for instance, if you notice that somebody's, a child's, temperature is very high. So straight away, you know that there's that kind of abnormality. So what can you do to make sure that at least the temperature will just come down? And you may request for, let's say, suppository, either 125 or 250 milligram, right? So that is also an intervention you also put in place. So per the system that you are using, the electronic health records, it consists of what? Data elements. So you see all your diagnosis on the system. You also do, documentation. You have all your care plan goals and everything on the system. So it is up to you to situate that into proper context. And once you are having meaning, then it will confirm information. Then you will see how you can bring to bear all the set of data elements and the information through the application of the knowledge that you have. That will let you know or inform you about the intervention that you put in place, right? So that is just about the relationship. But before we go, let me also say how somebody can also set this one in proper context. What of obesity? How can we describe somebody as having body mass index of 30 and the person is still not obese? What are the linkages? I want you to start this one from the lens of data elements through information to knowledge that will inform you that this person is having BMI of 30 but still not obese. Is the question clear? Please, is the question clear?
No, sir.
Please come again.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the same way that you were able to look at data elements, looking at vital signs through to the intervention that you bring on board. I'm saying that somebody is also described as having 30 body mass, body mass index of 30, right? And the person is still not considered as obese. So I want you to just start from what defines obesity, right? From data set elements through to information and then through to your confirmation that I have body mass index of 30, but I'm still not obese. So I want you to just look at the linkages. We just want to establish the relationship, right? That will lead us to confirming somebody as having BMI of 30, but still not obese. I hope it's quite clear. Is that okay? Please, is that okay? Okay, now I've seen Barbara. Oh, it has been one way. Today I'm not enjoying, the feedback. Okay, Barbara.
Sir, please, I'm trying.
Okay, try.
Okay, with the body mass index, I know it's linked with weight, age, and height.
Good.
So you determine if the person is obese or not. It determines with the age, the weight, and the height of that particular person. So considering the person be obese or not is because of these three. So if maybe the patient is for instance 100 kg, height is 160, and maybe the age is maybe 30, and you calculate and it's low, you cannot tell that the person is. Thank you.
Okay, so that's a very good observation. So I like the fact that you have considered what height, weight, and then age or gender as data elements, right? That are used to calculate what BMI. So that's a very good one. Now, Eddie, can I take your view and then I wrap up on this? Eddie? Okay. Israel couldn't stay tuned, so let me just conclude on this one. So just to re-echo what Barbara has already given us. Now let's look at it from this angle. Data represent what? Uninterpreted what items. That is why it doesn't require what any interpretation. So if I say my name is so and so, I don't need to give any interpretation. So example could be that let's say a person's weight without additional data elements like height, age, or maybe overall well-being, it will be impossible for you to give interpretation in terms of significance. But the information is a group of data elements that have been organized and processed so that you can interpret the significance of the data elements. So on the basis of what? Obesity, as per information, we can say example would be what? Height, weight, age, and gender are data elements that are used to calculate what? BMI. So you'll be informed that before you can have the BMI, you need to look at the person's height, weight, age, and that is inform you about something, and that is what? Information. The BMI can be used to determine if the individual is what? Underweight. Per the calculation that we did, it will inform you as to whether the person is what? Underweight, the person is what? Overweight, or the person is normal, or maybe obese. Then your knowledge will be just about what? Formalization of what? The relationship between those set of what? Data elements. So it can inform you that even though the person per the calculation is having BMI of what? 30, and it's still not what? Obese. Please, is the linkage or relationship okay? Are they okay? Are they okay? Okay, now let me come again. I said that data should be considered as what? Uninterpreted what? Items. It doesn't require any interpretation. So if I have what? Height, age, they are just mere data elements, right? But when I decide to organize them into very relevant, or maybe organize them into a meaningful, context, then that becomes what? Information. And I'm saying that I can have what? Height, weight, age, and gender as what? Data elements. That will aid me to calculate for BMI. So in my calculation of the BMI, I will get to know that what I see, the person is what? Underweight. The person is what? Overweight. The person has normal weight or obese. But my knowledge will tell me that what I know, not all BMI of 30 may lead to what? Obesity, or necessarily mean obesity, right? And that is the application of what? Knowledge that you bring to bear. That per what you are saying, the person having BMI of 30, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the person is what? Obese, right? Do you get it? Is it okay now? I hope it's okay now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, so when I ask you something, only one person will have to respond. Hey, well, okay, anyway, come baby. Now, we are just wrapping up on the next one, introduction. Then we bring our meeting to an end. According to Albert Einstein, everything that can be counted, does not necessarily count. And everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. So something matters and other things maybe do not matter. So let's ponder on this one. What do you need and what do you not need? All of them, I mean, should guide us going forward. That everything that can be counted does not necessarily count, and everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. Ponder on this one. Okay. Then this one, I'm not addicted to reading. I can quit as soon as I finish one more chapter. Have you begun serious reading since the inception of the semester? How serious have you been in terms of what? Reading. You can quit as soon as you finish one more chapter. You have a semester to go. And the semester is called, counting. So you can't quit now. So let's look at this man. This man is saying that he can only quit. Please, whoever is disturbing us, they can't remove that person. Georgina Jr. So according to this man, he said that I can quit as soon as I finish one more chapter. So if you put all your semester courses, including informatics, medical nursing, surgical nursing, whatever you are doing, if all of them put together, maybe can't, be compared to two of the books here, then you are not doing anything, even though you are doing something. The man is reading all these books around him. So how many books do you read a day? How many courses do you read a day? How much time do you spend, in reading? All of them will go into how this man is what, saying that we should take you from what he's doing. Uses and competencies in nursing informatics. I'll just introduce this one and then you draw curtains on today's meeting. Uses and competencies in nursing informatics. We have already looked at what? The models of skills acquisition. We are now going to look at the competencies that will describe or confirm somebody as a competent user of an information system. So per the LIMS or per the games that you are using. Let's see how you can be described, in this context. Nursing informatics competencies mean that nurses have adequate computer literacy and information management skills. Example, knowing how to use email, manage Windows application, search databases online, and ability to use what games or LIMS are all part of what informatics competencies. However, not all nurses possess adequate skills. It is very important to identify nurses' informatics skills towards the technologies that facilitate information processing, communication, and exchange. So by the end of this journey, you should be able to identify and describe various competencies of nursing informatics, explain the meaning of what nursing informatics competencies. So we are going to look at this from this perspective. Who is a beginner or entry user level of what LIMS or games? Who is intermediate or modifier level of what games? And who is advanced or innovator level of what competency? So when we pick, let's say, a beginner or entry level, we are going to describe them from this perspective. Technical competencies. Utility competencies is just about utilization of what the system that you have. Then leadership competencies, how to plan in terms of using the technology and bringing to bear knowledge acquisition in system implementation. All of them may define who a competent user of an information system is. So let me go over this one. Technical competencies may describe the use of what information and communication system. So if we are able to use information and communication system very well, then we can be aligned to technical competencies. Then if you are also able to use LIMS or games in professional context, that is what utility competencies. If you are able to make decisions with respect to planning for and using the technology, is also considered as what leadership competencies. So all our conversation is going to be centered or revolve around what technical, utility, leadership. But we are going to apply the intersections you see here. Look at what a beginner, a modifier, and then what innovator. Now, technical competency for a beginner of an information system. You should be somebody who is able to use what word processing applications, demonstrate keyboard skills, use spreadsheet applications. If you are able to do all this, then you are considered as what a technical competent user of an information system for a beginner. So a beginner who doesn't have all these attributes of a technical competent user of an information system, then you can say that more room for improvement. So in our next meeting, we are going to look at this. And I want you to bring to bear your candid assessment of what? Your ability to use what? The existing information system. Whether you are still a beginner, whether you are a modifier or an innovator level of what? The information system. Okay, so that is the introduction. Thank you all for today's meeting. Let's go on with any question or whatever you have. Then when we come next week, we ask those questions, or I'll go over the introduction, then move on from that angle. So I thank you all. Today is birthday. Let me use this opportunity to wish all of you happy birthday. I would have wished to encounter you face to face, but since it is not possible, I give you all my token of what? Likeness and love on this day of what? Valentine. Thank you all. Anything I have to know before I say Jack?
We want chocolates.
Yeah, how do you get all of them? Because today is I don't know, maybe unless I come to you, I come to you, right?
Say,
hello.
If I might 10 marks each.
Say, extra marks.
Extra
marks. Yes.
Extra 10 marks.
Extra 10 marks.
10, yes.
Chocolates now, my dear.
And examination from now to the day of examination, what pass it, right? 10 marks.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, I hear. So that would be, what maybe I can do. I'll give you, something small to pushing you. Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, much love, sir. Much love.
We love you.
You are really amazing.